What was my dad like when I was a little kid? Oh my gosh, he was the best. I'm trying to think back to like my youngest time to kind of go through like I guess the memories as I grew older. But the oldest memories that I can actually remember from being young was that my dad was always really playful and wanting to encourage us to be tough. So we would always, I don't know, like wrestle around with him, and he would say, he'd hold up his shirt and say, punch me in the stomach as hard as you can. And of course we'd wind up and punch him in the stomach and hit harder, harder. So that was always really fun and cool. And he liked to wrestle a lot and get us in his little leg locks. And the only way we can get out of those leg locks is if we really fought for our life to get out. So that was always really fun too. Of course, tickle treatment. It's probably one of the funnest things ever, and I love doing that with my kids now, where he would lay us down and say, put your hands up, put your hands up, and then ask questions like, did you brush your teeth today? The pool filter is going ballistic. So, put your hands up. Did you brush your teeth today? Yes. No, you didn't. Tickle, 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 tickle. And we would laugh our butts off so bad. I remember I would literally laugh to the point where I almost peed my pants. That was the funnest. And so we knew that to get tickled more and more, we'd have to like tell lies. So that was always fun. I love doing that to my kids now too, the tickle treatment. Being tough. If we ever had like a cut on our arm or a scrape on our knee, he'd say, you're tough, you're a lean, mean fighting machine. Lean, mean fighting machine. That was always like the motto. So, no Band-Aids. Band-Aids are for sissies. That was another thing. I guess I could tell my boys that more, that they're lean, mean fighting machines, but they do kind of whine a lot. So, what else? What else? What else? I know he was really funny. He would do like the Donald Duck. I can't do it. Donald Duck. I can't do it. So great at impersonations. Donald Duck. He would do like a motorcycle driving by. I don't know, like Tony Montana. Any little thing to imitate another person that was really funny. I loved that. I guess as we got older, when we started going to school, I loved when my dad would take us to school because obviously he was more punctual. He'd get us up on time. So we always had time to go to the donut shop before going to school. So he would walk us in and we all got to pick our donut. And I think I definitely carried that little trait on. There's Joshua. Don't worry, I'm watching him. I'm watching him. The donut shop thing is definitely my thing now with these kids. Because Jason's like, no donuts, no sweets, no sugar, but we do the donuts. Music in the car on the way to school. It wasn't much of like, how was your day? Tell me about this. Or what'd you learn? It was more about like listening to music on the radio. 95.5. Hold on. Being a mom is like, ugh. All they do is whine and cry. The other kids, so Joshua just went in the house. The other kids are trying to climb the tree back there, but they can't get to the next branch, so they keep yelling for me to go get them on the branch. And then the pool filter. Why did I come outside? It's so loud. Anyways, on the way to school, he would just play the radio, 95.5. It was like an old rock song. So a song would play, and then he would always say, guess who sings it? Guess. We never knew. So it was Black Sabbath, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin. I don't know. I don't really know like all the bands back then, but that was definitely like his type of music. Ozzy Osbourne, again, Black Sabbath. Yeah, he'd take us dirt biking. Oh my gosh, I just remembered, this was the greatest thing ever. He bought this old busted van, just like with a temporary car, and he would take us across the street from our house to the industrial buildings, and we would go to their trash cans and find all the cardboard boxes. Nicola, I don't know if I told you the story. My dad got an old busted van and would take us across the street to the industrial buildings, and we would go to the trash cans and get all the cardboard boxes, and we would stack up this crazy like wall of boxes. Like you could not see the other side of the road. And he would let us take turns driving the van, crashing it into the boxes. That was so fun. And we'd take the dirt bikes over there and ride it around. Always let us drive his car on his lap. That was always the greatest. Like that was always his thing. I don't know if I've let you drive enough. I gotta let you drive more. Did you drive in this neighborhood or was that Uriah?
That was Uriah.
Okay, yeah. So my dad always let us drive the car. Yeah. Fun times. The music, the car thing. And then of course as I got older and I became like, you know, a back-talking teenager, and I would fight with my mom all the time. And obviously now that I'm a mom, I can totally see doing this. Like, you just had enough. Just like, get out of the house, go away. I've found myself doing that to Uriah a few times. Like, just get out of here and go. So yeah, my mom would get fed up with me. Obviously I was a back-talking teen, and I would leave the house and I'd go walking. And then I'd see my dad's car pull up, creeping behind me. Lauren, my princess, my baby, I love you. Okay. Trying to get an interview is really tough with these phones. The phone's dying. But anyway, so she would say, get out of the house and go, and I would go start walking all mad, walking, and then my dad's car would like pull up behind and be like, Lauren, don't leave, come back. I love you, it's okay, just come home. And I'm like, no, I'm leaving, I'm going away. And so he'd get me back in the car and take me home. That's just so sweet. Isn't that just so sweet and precious? Because obviously you're going to butt heads with your parents, and it's just nice to know that, like, my dad, he never got mad. He was never cussing. He was never a drinker. He never spanked us. I don't know, I feel like he never got angry or mad. Like right now there's a trend on TikTok where like millennials, or I don't know what my age frame is, but like say I go home to my mom's house and I get my mom to, it's called rage bait, and then you get your dad's reaction. I don't think it's possible to rage bait my dad. Like there's nothing you can do to rage bait him. Like for me it'd be easy to tell Jason, oh no Jason, I popped the curb and the tire popped. Like he'd rage. Or the kids, you know, spill, I don't know, smoothie all over your carpet floor. Ah! Not my dad. Nothing to get him to rage bait. And then obviously as I became an adult, no longer a teen, there's really only one person I can count on in all those times. Like no matter what the circumstances was, like getting in trouble with the law, who do I call? My dad. Oh my gosh. I remember I got in trouble and I had to go to jail for the night, and the next morning I was going to be released. The first person I called was my dad, and it just so happened to be on April Fool's Day, so he kept saying, it's April Fool's Day, you're joking. I'm like, no Dad, I'm serious. So of course he helped me, like encouraged me to get a lawyer and fight the crime, and I pretty much got off on it. In college, if my car broke down, called my dad, he'd be there in seconds. I would get out of classes so late at night. I remember one time I was in the parking lot at night and there was like this creepy guy just sitting like in the corner of the parking lot in the shadows. I don't know why I freaked out. I just like wanted my dad to come. So he drove, I think it's like a 20-minute drive or something. He came like right away to make sure I got my car and drove home. Yeah, always been there. If I needed to move into a new place or move out of a place, it just goes on and on. And he encouraged me to buy my first house at 24 years old, which is like probably one of the best bits of advice a parent could give me. I had a crappy job. I wanted to quit. Every day I was just like struggling. He was like, just keep grinding and get this house once you get your investment. And what do you know? That house I bought at 23 ended up making $450,000 profit. I mean, 10 years later, I lived in the house for almost 10 years, but still, I mean, goodness gracious, what a great push, because I know I would not have done it unless he really guided and told me to do it. So shout out to Tony Parise, realtor. Yeah, and it just goes on and on. On and on. When I was pregnant with Jason, we weren't married yet, so, you know, some people might frown upon it, but as soon as I told my dad, he was actually really freaking happy for me. And in those, like, the first, like, 4 months of my pregnancy, he would call me every day just to ask me how I was feeling and how I was doing. And that was just like such a special, such a sweet time. Like he cared that much about my pregnancy, and yeah, he's the greatest, the greatest. Wish they would sell everything in California, move to Florida, and be the cool grandparents who live a few doors down. That would be a dream come true.